So we're in good hands.
We are out at
That's our
Prairie
little
Village
celebrity
in
for the
Madison,
village. So
South
here we
Dakota,
go.
and they're going to be starting the parade. I'll be recording it. If you want to join the HPOCA, go to hpoca.org. We'd love to have you. Beautiful weather, nice people, great tractors.
This old girl belongs to Paul Johnson and his family, ultimately. But this is called Old Reliable. It's a two-cylinder tractor. It's got the pistons are 10 inches in diameter in that tractor, and there's two of them. So there's some over 5 gallons of displacement in that engine. These were all cooled with oil because that was the matter to keep them run hot enough to burn kerosene, so they had to cool them with oil. Nichols and Shepard basically made 80, more so than this. On to them, this one was built in 1911. They had Nichols and Shepard came off. Here's the old, my dad had one of the corn pickers, and quite frankly, he said it wasn't to work the motor to go up to a warm place. That's the way you felt about your corn picker. But obviously, they were in business a long time. They were early 1840s when they started up. This is an Overby tractor. These folks are the ones who have the little shack up there. They're early on grandfather, fathers, and so on. Designed a corn picker way back when. We got several generations of Overbys on that tractor right now. And they're from Brentford, South Dakota. This one has the live power takeoff kit on the side of it. But at that point, in the late 1929, nobody felt the need for a live power. It's kind of not fancy. It comes down the side, goes across, goes underneath, and off the back. And that's how it was done. 1224 is a little two-cylinder tractor. They take that same engine and put two of those side by side and make a 150 on it. It came out of Canada from the Canada Short by Michael Simons and his dad on Darrington, North Dakota. This is a little home build. They call it 220. William E. Beckgold from Lodi, California. It was built by his father for Christmas in 1959. This is pretty well done. You gotta admire the tenacity to put something like that together. Oliver people bought these tractors company in the middle 40s.
From California Cleat Track.
And they acquired it. This was quite a company. They were very progressive. Did a good job.
Brought this all the way from California.
A lot of people building patterns to these tractors.
This also is from California Cleat Track.
Way back when, so the uncle probably bought it. Oliver 77 for one of his flag lines, 6-cylinder tractor, does a nice job for him. This is an early Oliver Hart-Parr. This is when we were kind of in between one and the other. It's got the Hart-Parr name in there, and then that's what you're looking at. It's a standard fixed tread tractor. It's a 70. The 70s were quite a popular tractor. 80s, we stump up quite a few years now. This is 1960s, Skylar Clark.
Pete Baker from Mankato, Minnesota.
And you just plow with these tractors. A lot of the technology that's in that tractor started out back in the 88. All of our 770s, we're still in that same tractor area. On the Matt Clark out of Eldora, Iowa. The tractor's only got 3,900 hours on it, but relatively speaking, it's not a lot of hours. Original owners traded a Shepherd diesel for a set of 70s. I have a Shepherd diesel in our museum, and I think the guy is a lot better off with the 770 than the Shepherd diesel. When the Shepherd diesel was, well, we can say a disappointment. They didn't do as they were programmed to do. They just did not. The company should have never
Matt
built
Clark.
them.
He's from
But things go on
Eldora,
like that.
Iowa.
Here's the first one. They got a nice little crawler again. This is an old C4. It's been changed to the Oliver crawler. We don't see the cleat track on it anymore. These are good little outfits. This is an Alpha track. It belongs to Don Carr out of Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. It's designed to work in the swamplands or deep snow, or it's got a lot of flotation ability there. It's an interesting piece. They have a couple dozen of these in working order, which is really, wow. If they've got 24 of them that are in working order, they deserve a little round of thank you for that, and bringing one here to show us. Thank you, sir. Then we move up to a little bigger stuff. The Oliver 1800 was just before the 1850. They're pretty decent tractors. And he cost him $600 to a gallon of matching paint for the rascal. Good Lord. Well, you paint one of these with several $1,000s. Those of you who are looking at the frame with that, there's a lot of money goes into the paint job. We're looking at the 1850, that actually had the truck with the 88 where the engine was built being worked on to get that to that point. 1961 880. This comes from a little closer to home. Then Coach Roger out of Lennox. This is your basic original tractor, just as you get them. Looks quite nice, Jeff. You don't get abused, why they last well.
This one's for sale. I'll try to get a phone number.
60 of them. I'm surprised International didn't. They came in 1923 with their farm haul.
605 1438 880.
Out of up in North Dakota.
Here's Jim Norland. He's from North Dakota. Northland, or Northern Lights. Sorry about that. Northern Lights member.
Which is a thing that those people put on these tractors. Everybody had a little bit of a gimmick to try to make them separate them from the competition.
This is his son, Kurt Norland. He's here. He has a bunch of toys for sale. Tell you what, if you have a question about an Oliver Hart-Parr white cleat track,
here we got the old 28.
I guarantee you somebody will know something about it.
4 cylinders out of it. The cylinders are right back working with the operator. The oiling is all done on top of these. The little drippers that feed the oil in belongs to Steve Mark out of Dundee, Minnesota. A lot of these old girls, they must have been extremely popular tractors. The 1836 is a 2-cylinder tractor, about a 6.5-inch bore. Belongs to Greg Muller, this one out of Avoca, Nebraska. Second owner, was operated by a neighbor for plowing in the 50s. Most people from Howard, they come with tractors every year with another 1836, 1929. Just getting closer to the end of the Oliver. So these were real popular. They did what they did. We had 18 underground and 36 to run down. This is one of the best tractors. He has a whole collection of these guys. They're all a little different. They have the D8s and the I's and all different serial numbers. And they all have a little bit of differentiation. That one's got the live power takeoff on the side of it. It wasn't add on to the line of the company. Like I said, people didn't feel the need for it then. And now it's just that it would be without the live power. Here we have one from New Virginia, Iowa, painted by Gerwin, another 1836, 1927 model. This one comes from the Church family from South Dakota and Arizona both. So again, another 1836. These tractors are water cooled. The earlier ones, the other ones are oil cooled. The water cooled ones came with these engines. A little Super 44. This is a little offset tractor. The idea behind that is to meet with the international people with their little bees and their little offset seats for their truck cars and stuff. This one comes from Dodge, Nebraska. He bought it from North Carolina in the late 90s and got it put together in 2022. Easier thing to haul around. The little row crop 66 belongs to the Phelps family. That one comes right out of Madison. That's easy enough. We have a lot of folks from Madison and the surrounding area that support Prairie Village pretty well. We got a 77 following that belongs again to the same family. People have got them nicely put together. You notice they went away from the side shields on that tractor. It's a little newer. Did you change and didn't put the side shields on anymore? Most people left them laying in the fence row. They thought the tractor ran too hot with the shields on, which really wasn't the case. That's what's like. Super 88 Phelps tractor as well. It's been out doing a little pulling the last day or three, just for the fun of it. Here we come with another one. This is great. Bring them out and we look at them. The engine in the engine would I don't have time to talk about it, but that OC one Oliver with the 12-to-1 compression, it'll come through here, and that's where some of the engineering came in that went into these engines and these tractors here. That put some of that stuff that they learned, the compression ratios and combustion chambers, and it went into the 88, and it also went up, wound up into
There's a tractor coming up that's pretty rare. Pretty neat tractor, turnpike tractor.
A neat little tractor. This is a turnpike mower. There's 32 of them built. This is the 12th one. The guy has done a well of a job to restore it. And it was used to mow the turnpike ditch with 200 miles of it. 1956 tractor. The mower deck is a 1,400-pound item. And it was painted blue to match the color theme down there. What a nicely done. These are the neat things that you don't get to see, folks. That's why they do this. They just bring it because they feel the need to do it. Thank you. We got your basic 1950. This is a busy tractor. These get the work done. This is quietly and comfortably. Oliver made that with that front end. That's a mechanical front wheel drive on that one. Very well done.
Oh, here comes the big one.
Got a little tiny one chasing along back there. Chasing that one. Some of them don't get tickets for. We can just tell you what they are, but we can't give you the guy's name and give you credit for it.
That's so cute.
One belongs to Ellen Duke, propane standard. Less than 10 of them know it, so this is pretty rare. These people work big engines, propane tractors.
There's another rare tractor that you don't see every day.
They didn't plow in the spring, just fall, and other than that, they continually cultivating. Now we're getting this is little Oliver fleet truck. These little guys have all kinds of usage. The wood blocks on them are to help with the traction. Especially when they use them on snow.
Looks like it's pulling a plow.
And also the tread was
Two-bottom plow.
On the little fella. It's just small, about a 30 horse outfit. It's an 88 Oliver. They just bought it a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, he wanted to bring it to a parade, so he come up from Holstein, Iowa, and brought his Oliver along with him. Another nice 88 moon drop that we're looking at here, diesel power. They had a little trouble getting the diesel power people to go in. And one time Oliver made a bet that, by golly, we'll pay half of your diesel fuel bill if you go and buy a little Oliver diesel. And then the result, that helped. Oliver sold a lot of diesels early on, and they had a pretty good share of the market on the diesel.
Is that a planter?
Little utility, the 500, the 550, and utility tractors are quite popular. They made quite a bunch of them.
550 with a seeder.
Behind it.
That's another thing you don't see too often.
With the American Seating Company, which became part of the Oliver Corporation in 1929. That was their claim to fame, was the seating equipment. This is kind of a neat tractor. Little 550. It was kept at the factory and used as a yard tractor, and sometimes it got out, got a hood and a grill change and power steering put on.
Oh, we got some Oliver wagons coming up.
What we got is a tractor and its original work goes that worked at the factory. In Zealand, Parental, Nebraska. It's got a GM diesel in it. This is the only tractor I know that can turn fuel oil into noise. I very like that. It's a 1950 T rear end because it's a 3-speed over and underdrive, so it's got a lot of gear. And of course we got your gravity boxes that have been with it since the early 70s. We used to use a lot of gravity boxes farming, and now it seems like we went away from that to hitch wagons and semis. Another tractor from that family. That's the Plows 26. This is 74. This is a little diesel tractor as well. He found it in a barn that hadn't ran for 10 years, and the Westendorf loader came with it. So sometimes you do that. You'll pick up something off the wall, and there that tractor will be sitting. We've got an F12 at home that came out of a barn in our museum. There we got a diesel high drop. The high drops were used down in Florida in the canes and stuff like that. These tractors always had a hard life. It was just in New Orleans, Louisiana, and that's where it went. He bought it out of David City, so that's where they're used at. It's in the tough going for they have them to start with, a hard life. This little gasser was found in the hay country. The guy was afraid of fire, so he took all the shields off the tractor, and this guy had to put it back together. And the little shredder is on the 3-point, a little bush hog type thing. This was owned by John Steeland's dad for 20 years, and it was owned by his cousin for 20 years. He wound up buying it back, and as a kid, he lived on that tractor, which is very common. I lived on a B. John Deere myself, is what we grew up with. Benny Steinberg out of Colton, South Dakota, 1964, 770. Cockshot wound up buying tractors from Oliver, so this is why the connection is there. They weren't happy with the tractors they were getting from Ellis Kelmer to you, so they walked. In 1949, they terminated their agreement with the Oliver people. The Monsies family had these tractors. Lyle used to come to the show for many years and then passed away. And he drove that one home when he was a kid. Sturgis Ball from Brookings, South Dakota. The tractor came out of Canada. We've got a lot of tractors that have interesting history. This one with Dwayne Ball, the one we're looking at ahead of that. This one belongs to Noah Selman right out of Madison, 1950, 88, 77, 66. Popular tractors for people that use Oliver. Oliver wasn't so popular up here. Not in our country. There was obviously places where it was, but not so much here. It's an 88 diesel. Belongs to Jerry's Bank of all things. Jerry and I used to work potatoes together when we were a lot younger. It was hard work. Yeah, thanks, Jerry. Got 1850 in your working clothes, President Eston Simpson. It's just, like you said, it's simply a good old farm work. It'll do the job, and it'll probably keep doing the job. I put that on their new electronically controlled tractors coming out as good in 50 years as these tractors have. I don't think we're seeing robbed. This is this rodeo. This is all of it. Put this together here from Green Top, Missouri.
Oh, I see an Oliver roller. I think that's what you call it, is a roller.
The same rodeo. I did the same thing with a couple SC cases. You put 3 of them, and the guy said, "What do you want? Are you a tractor collector?" I said, "Nope, I need some parts." That was kind of true. You guys know the drill. Nice 88 Martin Bonnie through about 15 minutes ago. 1948, a little earlier on in the program. As we move up a little bit, the 770 Oliver belongs to Howard Litterick, and he's restored by his grandson Nick Litterick. This is a 1958 tractor, nice and bright and shiny. Keep it inside, they'll run a long time in parades. It's a nice day we're having. We could talk about a little bit about that one that Oliver put together to test their theories when the cows come through, and it's 12 to 1 compression on the gas, and it showed out they could get quite a bit done. This belongs to Terry and Kathy Silver, 1939-70. The 70 didn't mean anything except when you used 70-octane gasoline. The tractor had no rating. It was just, this was for 70-octane gas. However that got started, we aren't in charge. Rollover plow, Brian Andrews on a Winna, Minnesota. The rollover was for if you were running ground where you didn't want any back furrows or dead furrows, like old flood irrigation, where you didn't want any surprises or have the water run away on you. So Brian brought that from Winna, Minnesota. The Oliver people made a habit of selling the power units to various companies. These people bought them at the Road Roller, Ferguson Roller Company. Galen Samuelson from Wakefield had that. But they would sell the power units, and the people would put them on their units. There were also scrapers. What was that on was a scraper. They put them in a road grader. It wasn't uncommon. They had dirt loaders that did
Oh,
the
he's
same
going to give us a
thing, where
show.
you carry them along, the scrapers and so on. This was an 880, and John and Susan Schoenauer, and it's bought from Susan's dad. Another tractor from the same family. This is a little utility again. These were popular little 500, 550, a nice little utility with a fully mounted 2-bottom plow on it.
This is John Schoenauer. He's a member of Central States. He does the newsletter for them, and he's actively involved at Floyd County Museum. Nice to see him at the show.
Hart-Parr stuff down there.
This is McKenna.
Were built down in Carroll City.
She's the director of Floyd County Museum. If you need manuals, you want videos, she is the one to call. Look at her go. So proud of her.
Super 88 following is coming from the same
This is Jim Dick. He's from South Dakota. He is the president of the HPOCA and also a chapter member of Great Plains.
Interesting day, the fact that we can do these sort of things and go over some of the history. The Oliver people really expanded a bunch over the years. The size of that company was phenomenal. The one in 1911, they were going through 40,000 tons of pig iron, building plows, which was their main forte, was the building the plow. And they figured out how to chill the plow chair as well as the plow lathe. So when they chilled the chair, they would make it hard, and then the lathe itself, it was hard, so they would flip the dirt better than the cast iron, which would not flip anything. So John Deere, of course, in the 18, or way earlier, had done the other job with a steel plow. This is a 30 Hart-Parr that belongs to Paul Johnson and family. There was an article in the last Hart-Parr magazine about it. There's a tractor that Paul and his family run. They bring a lot of stuff. Kenny and his family lived on Westchester, which is go hopping and skip down the road. This is 1942-60. With the curtains on it, it looked nice. It worked well. Sidney Grosset out of Corsica, South Dakota. The new tractor in 1964, again the 550. This It came from right close to the plant, 35 miles away from a gentleman who had worked in the plant. So that little tractor has the plant history. The little 440 the gentleman bought in Mississippi with the motor stuck and found out it had been overhauled, but nobody had ran it. So he got it run and got it to where it is today. Some of these things, it's a little trip bringing them back. I've been there and done that too. They don't all come all ready to go out of the box. Or somebody will tell you a little bit of untruth about them sometimes when you buy them. You fill them with water and it's running out the bottom, you know there's something wrong they didn't tell you about. 44, 1957. Again, we're looking at the little tractor to compete with the truck garden work. Original Engelman. These are the nuns, again, the ones that converted into noise. We have the 71 series diesel in them. The 71 meant 71 cubic inches per cylinder. So if you had 3 cylinders, you had 273 cubic inches. If you had 4 cylinders, you had a little more. The 3-cylinder was very common in these tractors. They're 2-cycle engines. They fire every time up. They're extremely noisy tractor. For all their noise, they leak a lot of oil. When they get older, they drip a lot because it's just the way they are. Then we have one here that's not, that's the other way around. That's got this Oliver Zone motor in it. These folks are from Green Isle, Minnesota. Oliver figured that a lot of metallurgy work up on that manifold, for instance. They figured out how to mix these cross manifolds so it wouldn't freeze by using the right metallurgy so the gas iron didn't expand and freaking expand and wear out the gases. We got a nice high crop from the same family. Neat to see this stuff because to begin with, Oliver was a short-lived tractor company, and the fact that some of these survived and we get to appreciate it here in the show. Again, thank you, folks. Then we get back to your basic hauling and disking and driving tractors, the same family, Engelman family out of Green Isle, Minnesota. This is 1960. This is your standard meadow green color, the green and the white that they use. This is acceptable color. Again, we're bringing it to a 1957, 66 series from the same outfit. Nice fun. This is interesting, the one with the mist green color. If my memory is right, I think they only painted 50 of them that color. Made a note that nobody liked that color, so we're not going to do that anymore. But I think the serial number in the book shows like 50 of them were put out with that color. So if that's an honest one, why that would be one of the 50. Radiate propane high crop. We got several things going for us here. To begin with, it's a high crop, and then it's on propane. Super 88, 1957. This gentleman comes square from Lincoln Station, Wisconsin. Thank you for bringing the tractor. Yep, we do appreciate it. That's a gasser, but like I said, it's fun. Untracted propane.
There's an orchard coming up too. Very nice orchard. People don't realize that they made orchard tractors to be destroyed. Not destroyed by, but just destroyed by nature, by going into orchards, getting the tree branches. It's really, really hard to find them, and this could, I mean, this is a beautiful orchard.
The factory, there's no small amount of work. All that's on there is designed so it can slip through an orchard, do minimal damage to the vines and to the apple tree. So if you're disking in an orchard, you want to be able to close the tree, but you don't want to take the branches along the tractor. Larry is Cape Boswell, Ellen, Nebraska, 1550 high crop. It's very obviously high crop when you look at that one. It's more pronounced there than the other one.
Larry.
The way it's put together.
He's in Great Plains chapter.
Nice little 88.
Him and his wife do the newsletter for Great Plains. Very, very nice family.
Nicely done.
Good people.
Here in the parade. Here's another one facing that one. It was one of their work tractors, the 66, 77, 88. Then it morphed into some of the triple digit tractors as it came along, like we're having right behind us. Doug Cole comes out of Ward, South Dakota. He's speed entering along. Most of the time he's on a pulling tractor of some sort. He does a lot of tractor pulling, lives over by Ward and plays with tractors. Plays with old speed tractors. I've seen him on all kinds. He's not partial to what brand it is. This one got finished in 2024.
Oh, here's another one for sale. Let me grab the phone number.
70, Mark Light.
770.
So some of these folks truck quite a ways to their
Sure,
show.
that's a 507-215-1234.
Come to the show and we get to enjoy it. Another little Wheatland tractor. The Wheatland you can tell by the fixed front axle. That's as wide as it gets and as narrow as it gets, and that's what you're going with. Belongs to the Foley Farms out of Somerset, Wisconsin. 1959 tractor. This little fella comes from the Marsh family, some friends of mine that lived down by Humboldt, 1945-60. It's just a little guy.
Foley's, they are from Wisconsin. I was talking to Daryl yesterday and he said he has 93 Olivers.
Another one that will cost the 60s.
93!
So 1954, the Marsh family.
They have quite a collection.
Dwayne and his family got moved out of Humboldt again. We got a 66. And we just well keep going up the line, getting a little bigger. Here's a couple of the Marsh family on a 1954 Super 88. They did the same thing that the International Harvester did. They bored them out for an eighth of an inch or quarter of an inch and gave them another 100 RPM, and then they got another 3 or 4 horsepower and they called it Super. That was just the way the game was played. It's the way the game has been played for years. Got one that'll make it a little better. Maybe I can tell you another one. This one is an interesting tractor from 1928, 1836.
I see the replica Exo 121 coming up. He put hours and hours and hours into that grill. Just the grill to make it perfect.
Very good.
He's a super nice guy. If you come out, have a chance to stop by, see it, and say hi to him.
This weight's a little smaller too, 10 cents. Standard version of the road tractor.
This is Lori and her husband, Lori Paulson. She put together our banquet this year. They are from South Dakota.
Anyway, John's
Great Plains. Chapter members.
Nice little 77 12 inches. That's where I can get to South Dakota. They come in like 2 tanks of gas. Along by his uncle, Eddie Tibb, Shelby. This is the one we talked about. This is the replica of the one in Charles City, when Charles City finally got back after we went through several hands. This is the engine they experienced with the heads and the compression ratio and the combustion chamber design. You get 12 horsepower out of a gallon of gas an hour. They did some work on the compression and the octane rating, and it was their guinea pig, the tractor they got down in Iowa. This fella took the trouble to build one like it, did a nice job, and thank you for bringing it. Got little Jimmy running this one, the old Detroit. He's snarling away along in the Super 99, 1955. That engine lasted. General Motors built that engine. They did a lot of work. They were in trucks. There was all sorts of construction that was looking for. Remember the old green Euclid? There'd be one on the front, one on the back, and making as much noise as possible. 660 comes from Roseland, Iowa. It's all original. The paint's original. The tractor is pretty darn good shape. It's 900 total hours. Ever looking at an old tractor with 900 hours, that's pretty good. Then we got Got another little screamer here to talk about. 1966, going to see Griffith. This guy comes out of Corsica with this one. This is a work tractor. It's a Wheatland tractor. It's got the fender fuel tank. You got a little more storage. The guy is kind of enclosed up there. It's better than no fenders. Gives you lots of room to sit.
Kelly Barnett is coming up. He's pretty cool. Usually he's tinkering around with the Hart-Parrs. I see he's on a Super 55 today. Nice to see him here.
People come very good, pretty faithfully. You got the 880 diesel. This guy is pretty much original. He spent a lot of time out in the weather. Wants to land fewer out of Summer, South Dakota. 1958 tractor. We're looking at a lot of years on these guys. This is pretty. Martin shotgun in when they were going into the white motor company. When you had shotgun in Minneapolis and olive all hooked together, so they spray one color and call them something else. It just worked out so good when you want to walk something squat, and not a good thing, but life went on. Sometimes I don't think we're the better for a lot of this coming together when we have something that works, and just to make a conglomeration out of it. These little guys are just rolling through. You notice on the bottom of them, they have those holes inside of them that you put pipes through, and then you would launch your telemeter on it. That was something they figured out way early in the program, and so that pipe mounting of stuff carried through all the way through into the tractor. Little 660 comes from John Adams out of Fortuna, North Dakota. This is the one in the group there when it's working here. And then we got another one. This is your basic 88, 66.
John Adam, he's another guy. He's from North Dakota. I can't remember how many Oliver tractors he has, but he won the award for Family of the Year a couple years ago.
2052
we went out and toured his place and went up to Crosby. HPOCA had a secondary show there, and it was just amazing.
It's a 50 horsepower unit. It's basically a tractor engine, and the radiator is sitting up there to cool the little fella. It's got 4 cylinders, and it's on the feet grinder. A little tiny one. It's the latest purchase, the lady said, so either it must be a very pricey tractor or she got lucky. Again, you got the little garden tractor there. Johnson family has a lot of stuff. They bring tractors to the show all the time.
It looks like we're going to take a break in the parade for a little bit, so I'll start part 2 soon.
Talks about Hart-Parr made by Oliver. As you mentioned before,